time, American TV stations would run public service announcements starting with the following phrase. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? Well, my mother always knows where I am at 10 p.m. on a weekday. I'm in my bedroom doing a homework assignment, which is taking 3 hours longer than expected. The simple truth here is that we get assigned an inappropriately large amount of homework. While some homework is essential to solidify our studies and to further what we learn in school, the amount we get is harmful to our development as people. Most of my peers tell me they spend at least 3 hours a day on homework, which adds up to 10, 11 hours of school total. Of course, we do occasionally mismanage our time, but it is not always our fault. It is just that we receive too many assignments that are inordinately time-consuming, very often without purpose, and thus detrimental. Some big shot professors are actually starting to agree with us. Too much homework brings diminishing returns on standardized tests. Duke's director of the Department of Education, Professor Harris Cooper, has analyzed dozens of studies and found that doing more than 2 hours of homework a night in high school is connected to much lower standardized test scores, undermining the positive correlation smaller assignments can contribute. Teachers in many of the nations that outperform U.S. curriculum schools in student achievement tests, such as Japan and Denmark, tend to assign less homework than American teachers. Instructors in low-scoring countries like Greece tend to assign more. Alfie Kahn, author of The Homework Myth, highlights Cooper's studies and emphasizes the bad logic of assigning large and tedious amounts of homework when students clearly benefit little from it after a certain extent. He also muses that the real purpose of these long assignments may be to instill uncritical obedience, so that when kids grow up, they'll accept the long hours Americans are expected to work. While I'm not sure I'm on board with the conspiracy theory, the trend towards rising homework, we get about 54% more homework than our peers did in 1981, reflects the wrongful thinking that school, and only school, is beneficial to learning. The amount of homework we get increases radically with the age of 8, which is also the age where the amount of time spent reading for fun decreases. Reading, on the other hand, is the single biggest way to raise standardized test scores. Spending more time than 2 hours a night on homework intrudes on the time we can spend growing and learning outside of school. Think of all that we could get done if only we had less to do. We could spend time exercising, socializing with our friends, watching films, writing for the sake of writing, and getting more than 7 hours of sleep at night. Despite what may have been instilled in us, all of these experiences contribute to our ability to be independent thinkers just as much, if not more so, than the time we spend at school. When I asked a friend of mine how her afternoons go, she told me the following. She gets home from school after sports, has supper, spends a little time with her family, and does homework for the rest of the night. The terrible part here is that while she understands the value of family supper, she wishes sometimes she could just get straight to work after school, and says that family interferes with the time she could spend doing schoolwork. Those are feelings that nobody should be having, and yet every day we're forced to choose in one way or another between those we love, our friends and family, and school. Overdoses of homework create students whose values are not in the right place. Neither creates happier nor more successful human beings. Which brings me to my next point. Too much homework causes more stress, which can result in depression, irresponsible behavior, weight gain or loss, and acne, all of which can result in even more stress. If homework is going to wreak permanent damage on our nervous systems and take the fun out of learning in school, what is the point here? School is supposed to set us on the path of curiosity, give us the desire to educate ourselves, to reach out to the world around us. When I hear people saying they don't have time to volunteer, read a newspaper, or pursue a beloved hobby, it seems to me that school is doing the opposite. So what are we going to do about it? If we spend 7 hours a day at this institution, and approximately 5.5 classroom hours a week on each subject, shouldn't it be enough to learn what we need to know? Going to school from 8 to 3 and then doing 4 more hours of homework is not an education. It's an office job. We need to seriously rethink the educational curriculum and the nature of our homework assignments. I'm not opposed to homework. I believe that homework is an excellent way to solidify what we learn in school and learn more. What we need is not to work longer. We need to work smarter on assignments that matter. Our teachers, the people we entrust with our education, need to choose the assignments that will truly enrich us. Let us have some input about the kind and the amount of homework that will broaden our minds and help us retain the lessons of the classroom. To borrow from Mark Twain, we, both students and teachers, must not let our schooling interfere with our education.